What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Take It Apart channel. I have been putting this off for a while because I was really thinking that my next victim here is not working, but correct me if I'm wrong, but everything seems to be intact. So today we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at a Sony cassette player, CD player, stereo, and it's battery powered, folks. I pulled this out of the trash and I have been so excited, and I was worried about plugging it in because it had been out in the rain and everything. So I let it dry off for a couple weeks here in the shop, and here we go, folks. This is going to be good. Now it does turn on, and we do have radio.
The holidays are here again, and this...
Okay, so CD appears to work. Tape, interestingly enough. Fascinating. My neighbors are Chinese and they have a Chinese cassette in here. I have no idea what it is, so I'm going to put it off to the side. Now I do know that the drive in here is a little bit stiff. So if we were to put it on tape, and I can stop it very easily, and normally that's due to the rubber drive bands that are in here on the sprockets, the drive sprockets. We're gonna see. We're gonna take a look. All right. So, folks, let's go ahead and let's get into it. This guy does turn on. Battery drawer down here. Let's go ahead and take that guy off. So, it has C batteries. Fascinating. I haven't seen C batteries in something in a long time. Interestingly enough, they did take really good care of this. So, I'm going to not destroy this when I pull it apart because it looks like it's still in fantastic condition. Look at this. I have a non-broken telescopic antenna. How crazy is that? They always break like right here or up here. This one's still working, folks. Although I do have to kind of pull it off to the side because we got a couple fasteners. So in order to open this guy up, I got two fasteners here. I have two of them over here on the two ends. I got one here in the middle, and I got the two down here. So let's go ahead and let's pull it apart. Let's remove mains because reasons. I mean, just because it's been sitting here in my shop and hopefully drying out doesn't mean that there's no moisture in it. Alright, let's do this. And unfortunately I am missing... Oh! Okay, so we do have some rattle trap in there. You hear that? There's definitely some stuff moving around inside. Here, it's being a little boogery. There we go. And I can go ahead and put my antenna back because I do not want to destroy him. And I've got my three fasteners on the bottom. Now all these are #1 Phillips, which is an interesting design choice. This is a Sony, so it might be an aesthetic design choice. Sony normally has pretty products, you know. So by using smaller Phillips screws, they keep it pretty. Last one, I'm hoping. And then this guy should clamshell open. Now, I don't exactly see a build date on here. You know, well, I guess we're going to see right here. This could be a date code, but I don't see a build date per se. We'll find out. Alright, so very carefully, we're going to try and slide this back shell off. And, oh, okay. Alright. So you can see we do have a switch mode power supply in there. Wait, let's pull that guy off. And let's put him off the side. Let's take a look. So right here is a battery interface board. Very cool. We have a very rudimentary switch mode power supply. So the AC power comes in over here. We have some rectifying diodes right there. Looks like it goes through a fuse. Does it go through the fuse before or after? Okay, so AC power comes in. It goes into the transformer. This is really crude. So it looks like the AC power comes into the transformer, it steps it down, and then it's going to go through the rectifying diodes as a step down AC, and then it just comes out DC. We got one smoothing cap, and I've got one fuse here. Wow, that's crazy. Absolutely crazy. We got one little wire over here that is for our battery power. You can see they just tap in over here on the DC side of the circuit. Yep, very simple. And we have one little wire for our antenna. You see that? It's a spring-loaded thingamabobber. So it's a spring-loaded wire that interfaces. So that's what I was worried about, is having a wire that I was going to have to disconnect, because often, like antenna wires, they like to keep them short and tight. So no issues there. Let's go ahead and let's pull over the shell and let's take a look at the rest of the machine. Holy cow, we got one big board. I have my speakers in there. Okay, let's see. How best should we pull this apart? Got to be kind of careful because these components are a little old. So I'm going to disconnect the ribbon cable. And I'm going to see if we can disconnect this board and pull this board out. So this is an all-in-one board. You can see they definitely built it for cost. You got some really thin RF shielding. So it looks like I got 5 fasteners. 4 on the perimeter and 1 in the middle. Okay. So this board is floating. Now I got to figure out the connectors. Alright, so I got one connector over here. And, oh wow, okay. So you got some ribbon cables. Feels a little crusty when I'm disconnecting them. You see the ribbon cables here. And one little guy here. Holy cow. 2 ribbon cables there. Gosh darn it. Okay. 1 motor. Wow, okay. Interesting. So what's really interesting is you can see how they have some shielded components. They shielded around them for noise reasons. You see that? Well, also for cooling, of course, but definitely for some noise. You see this guy over here. This is actually not shielding. This little thin piece right here is a heat sink for the little chip located right there. They also added solder mask to the bottom to help with the cooling. All the capacitors look like they're in good condition though. Nice. Okay. Alright, excellent. So we have one ribbon cable here that is soldered down. Gotta be really careful because it's going to be delicate, and it's still got some elasticity to the cable, so we're alright. You can tell that this little chip right here, that's definitely being RF shielded. It's grounded at multiple points. Make sure that there's no RF energy that gets around that chip right there. Probably a problem child amplifier. And let's see, so this over here is definitely the radio section. And I would assume that we have a digital analog converter for the CD player. It's really crude. We're going to pull some more into it. But yeah, there you have it. This over here is the antenna, the tuner for the radio. Pretty cool stuff. And attenuation coils. Alright, let's set this guy over here. And let's take a look at that CD player. Ooh, all these screws are torqued down pretty good. You can hear that nice crisp snap when they break loose for the first time in probably 20 years. Now let's see. I should be looking for some date stamps. Oh man, okay, gotta be really delicate. So they got these ribbon cables taped down, and if I were to lift it any further, it will break because they're soldered at the PCBs. Very gently, folks. Okay. So the ribbon cable does connect down here, but unfortunately that's almost impossible to get to with that cover on. So here we have the CD head, and we've got the CD drive motor, and this here is this guy. Open it up. Yeah, so that one's the drive motor, and this one, here, let's pull it off. Nice. Okay, so I got a drive motor, and then I've got a seek motor, which goes back and forth. You see that? So we can move the little laser assembly. And then in here, there's actually going to be a focusing element that allows that lens to go forward and back to focus. Oh yeah, rack and pinion. Be interesting. Felt pretty well. I'm seeing a lot of 7, so I'm almost thinking that this is 2007. See, I see 07 there. Wait, that's saying 94. No way. Is this 94? That would make sense for why it's still got cassettes on it. Nah, I got some date codes over here. So it looks like the plastics are from 2005. Yeah. So you always go by the latest component. These are 06, the motors. So let's say 07. 06, 07. Yeah, very cool. We still haven't discovered that rattle trap that was inside it. Very carefully. I'm trying to keep all these components together so that you can put it back together. It's a nice little radio. Okay, so what is the loose part that I am hearing? I still can't figure out what it is. Dang. Definitely was dirty on the inside though. Okay, so remember, one of the main problems for this guy is the drive assembly for the cassette. And there's 4 screws in order to take that out. Oh, this is going to be real fun. Let's go ahead and leave that guy in. Man, these cables really get kind of packed tight. It's going to be a real challenge to get this guy back together. There we go. There's definitely something rattling in there. I hope you guys can hear that. It's just I can't find where it's at, so we're just going to have to keep pulling things apart. All right. Here we go. I have the whole cage loose, so I bet you I have to open the trap in order to get that whole assembly out. Come on, guys. There we go. Nice and easy. All right. I'll find that. Whatever that rattling is, we'll find it. Okay, so this here is the cassette tape drive assembly. Now, what's interesting is, just like with many CD players, there are these rubber bands that drive this flywheel. And the flywheel is there to maintain a constant speed, because motors can't keep constant speed. And when you change the speed on an audio recording, it's going to fluctuate the audio. So the tone's going to fluctuate. And this guy looks like all the gears and everything are good. So the cassette drive head looks like it's good. It's just that these bands have expanded and they're so weak. So when you push one thing, man, this is such a complex little assembly. When you push one of the buttons, fast forward or reverse, it's going to switch drive belts, and that's what drives it forward or reverse. And you can see over here that it's going to drive this wheel when it switches here. When it switches over here, it's in reverse. See that? So this little white gear flips back and forth. And my camera, of course my camera doesn't like focusing automatically. Why not? Interesting. Yeah, the gears still have proper lube on them. Everything looks really nice. All right, so that's the play. It brings down the drive head. We have a drive wheel right here, and this stainless steel spindle is what pinches the tape. Kind of like in the VCR teardown, there was a drive wheel on that one, and it pinches down on a drive spindle, which is the stainless steel peg right here. So just like that, pinches down on it, and then these here are your take-up reels. It's going to collect all the tape that's played. So this is actually pulling the tape across the drive head, and then it's spun down here on the take-up wheel. Now, the problem is that as these things get older, you'll have a different speed between the take-up head and the drive wheel down here. And when you have that, that's when you have the cassette that just feeds into a bunch, and it becomes spaghetti. So yeah, I just dropped it. All right, let's just bend that guy back straight, like so. There we go. Perfect. All right, so everything looks good on here. It's really super weak, and that is because these drive bands lose their elasticity. Now, there are some places that still sell them. You see right here, that is the drive band. And when I got this, see how it's got some memory? It's got one of the wheels, you can tell it was parked in that position for a long time, and the drive pulley sat right here. So you have to move it a little bit with your finger to break it loose. The other band is over here, and I can't quite get to that without pulling some more stuff out. So what you're going to have here is you're going to have an analog signal, because cassettes, standard cassettes, are analog. And it's going to come down in here where it's going to be turned into, well, it should be turned into an analog auditory. So it's going to amplify it, and that should be that. Now, this is a little weird, this dingle hopper. Oh, okay. All right. I see it. Man, it's been so long since I've been around cassettes. So over here, we have an erase head. You see how it pops down? Yep. If you push down the play and the play and record, and this head pops down, so it erases it, and then it's recorded here as it's spun around. So you have to have a blank magnetic tape in order for the record head, which is also the play head, for it to do its job. Interesting. Now on cassettes, there's a little thing right here, this little stopper, and on the bottom of the cassette, there's these little tabs. And when you buy a cassette, there's no tabs there. So that way there you can't record over it. But on these cassettes, this is a pre-recorded, or this is a recordable cassette. It's still got the plastic tabs. You can see it right here and right here. That depresses on this little latch, which releases the record button. See that? So right here, I can't press it down. Right here, comes down, and it brings that erase head down. There it is. So that's the cassette assembly. And let's see, what else do we have? So I have a digital interface bar right here, and that is your all your buttons, your readout, all that is on this guy. And to this moment, I still can't see what was rattling around in here. If it was a fastener, you'd expect it to be stuck to your magnets. Now, I have two 4-ohm speakers here that are going to be in stereo. That's this cable right here. And that's pretty much it. Everything comes to this one singular board. So this handles the radio. The cassette piece handles the cassette. And the CD here has no processing. None whatsoever. So the CD is digital audio, and that is going to connect on this board, and I bet you that's what this guy and this guy are for, is for processing that digital audio. Cool stuff. Anyway, guys, that is the Sony CFD S01. What a cool little cassette player, CD player, radio, battery powered. It's portable. When was the last time you've seen a portable radio? It's been a while. MP3 players have kind of taken over, and now everybody's cell phone streams audio, and that's usually what I use myself. So, folks, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy this, and stay tuned. I've got some other teardowns. We're going to get to it. Thanks for watching, guys.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below with what you'd like to see in future videos.